Hey everybody, it is Spencer with Finding Cupid, and I'm so excited because I am here with my friend and YouTuber Neil McNeil.
Hi!
Neil is probably like a nerd extraordinaire.
I mean, I wouldn't give myself that much credit, but...
But for reals. It's come to my attention recently that a lot of people are a little like put off and maybe confused on like what it takes or like how to date someone who is like, I don't want to say extremely nerdy,
but like also extremely nerdy.
So we're going to talk to you about kind of like what to expect when you get into a relationship with someone whose life revolves around comic book stores, video games,
movie releases,
TV shows, essentially.
I never thought any of those things were weird. I just assumed everyone was into those growing up, and like finding out that not everyone shared like the same passions as me was such a weird, eye-opening experience because I didn't know what to talk about.
Right, it's really weird when you start to talk about like X-Men or Avengers, and people like just have this blank stare on their face. It's like if you were to talk to me about like any sport, it's essentially like I don't get it. Okay, so we're gonna kind of go through and make almost like a list of like things that you need to know.
Come to expect
when you date people who have extreme likes and fandoms for like relatively nerdy things.
The number one thing is just don't be afraid to ask questions, but also if you ask a question, just be ready for a response. People need to understand that like we have a certain knowledge and skill set when it comes to these sorts of things, and that they're not open to hearing about it, even like if they don't care about it, if they're not open to like listening to us rant on for 5 minutes about how many times Jean Grey has died. I try to condense it. There have been so many times when I've been on a date where a guy will ask me what I'm into, and I will tell him like comic books, and he's like, oh, do you like the X-Men? And then 20 minutes later I'm like, oh, I'm still rambling. I think I just shot myself in the foot here. So you have to learn how to condense it, but like if you're on the receiving end of all this information, you have to learn how to listen.
Yes, definitely. There's like certain questions that are just like very loaded questions. Like asking like what your favorite character is or anything like that, you're gonna get an earful.
Yeah.
Because there's no one explanation.
Yeah, a lot of the times it varies on what you're reading currently or what you're into or like things that you read as a child. So like if you ask what's my favorite Avenger, I'm gonna give you a list of my top 5 and a full explanation as to why each of them ranks as they do.
And I would say like a number 2 thing for this is we are very passionate about what we like.
We like it for a reason.
My Sundays, once Doctor Who starts, are off limits for certain things. I have to be home to watch Doctor Who. I cannot watch it the day after. I have to watch it as it's on.
You have to go into this relationship with the realization of like, hey, like sometimes things are not gonna work out timing-wise because this show gets in the way or comic book day gets in the way.
Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Tuesdays are video game releases, Wednesdays are comic releases. Those 2 days are extremely big days for us.
If we go off into our own little world to do these sorts of things and you don't want to be a part of it, just accept that we will come back to you.
We'll be there.
We will be there.
Just in a few hours. Also being like not wanting to be around people is like another thing. Like at least for me, like there's certain nights that I want to be alone and play my video games, read my comics,
build my Legos.
Yeah.
If you want to go out on a Friday night and you invite me to go with you and I say, listen, I need the night for myself, like I'm in the middle of binge watching Sense8 on Netflix, so like it's really important to me. Don't think that's me choosing Netflix over you. Think of me allowing you to go do what you love to do so that I can do what I love to do.
But I will say, the only people that I will talk to on comic book day, and Neil knows this because we literally spend every day sending each other links.
We will be on Facebook chat in the middle of the workday, so sorry if you're watching this, employers.
Right. But it's like, we'll literally, like Wednesdays, like, what did you get today? What's on your list?
We're able to have a conversation about this. Like, if you're not able to provide, oh, like, what comics are you reading, what video games are you playing, like, that's okay. Like, it's not, I'm not discrediting you, I don't...
But usually through, like, text or...
Yeah, no, it's not, we're usually not doing it face-to-face. This goes into the whole, like, we don't like being around people a lot of the time.
We love each other, but, like, via like social media. The other thing I think that is really interesting about us is convention season, which basically starts with WonderCon in like end of March, beginning of April, and goes to
pretty much the end of October.
End of October with Kamikaze.
A lot of the times, like people, when you're dating someone of the geeky variety, they don't like going out a lot as much as other people do, but like when it comes to convention season, we are always
there.
We will be there, dressed to the nines in our best cosplay or like our best graphic t-shirts.
Yep.
Like, we are gonna be so into it, and like you just have to understand that like, I don't want to go to a club, but I want to go to a cosplay event, like
We also save our energy by not going out for conventions, because it takes a lot out of you.
That's another big thing too. It's like, you're gonna have to expect that, like, with us comes an entire collection.
Like, if you look, like, we have Doctor Who shirt here, we have X-Men shirt here.
And Disney here too.
And Disney. This is me every day.
Yeah, this is like my everyday wear. This is like my everyday cosplay. Like, our wardrobes are just full of just graphic t-shirts, like references to things that you would not even understand. Like,
I can dress up fancy, but this is typically what it is. This is it.
We have so much in the way of showing how passionate we are about these things, whether it be the toys that we have in our apartment, the artwork that we have hanging on our walls, or like the clothes that we're wearing. Like, people walk into your apartment and think like, wow, you're
a hoarder.
A lot more stuff. No, I feel like a hoarder sometimes.
I'm a hoarder.
I think.
So Neil is currently in a relationship. How does that work? How do relationships work?
I still am figuring that out, and like, the main thing is that he is not nerdy. We met because he complimented my X-Men shirt, which is like, of all things, like, I thought, like, right off the bat I was like, oh my god, this guy's super into like comic books, he's into the X-Men. Turns out, didn't really read the X-Men comics, like, he's seen the movies, but like, he isn't like as passionate about all of this as I am, so like, when it comes to us, he's come to learn, like, he's gonna go off on his tangents, he's gonna go off to the comic book store sometimes. Like, I can be there for him as much as I can. Like, he'll come to the comic book store with me, dragging his feet. But like, he will still be there. So like, I guess the ultimate thing is like, if you're gonna date someone, like, whether you're super into comic books too, or like whether you're not, just be willing to hear them out when it comes to their passions. Like, don't be afraid to ask questions, but also don't be afraid to hear the answers. Like, you have to be open-minded, and you have to be very open and aware of your surroundings, and just like be conscious of like, you know what, this person is like, they're super into something, but they're also super into me, so if they're that into a comic book, imagine how passionate they could be about me.
Aww, that's adorable.
I know, it works somehow.
Anyway guys, that is it for me and from Neil. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Hopefully that helps you kind of like get a gauge on like what you kind of have to like prepare yourself for when you date someone who's like severely nerdy.
If you're a nerdy person who's getting into a relationship with someone not nerdy, send them this video and be like, here's what you're getting into.
Right.
If you're a not nerdy person who's about to date someone who's really nerdy, like, we hope you took something away from this. We hope you don't like us any less. Nerds are cool, we promise.
We're just really passionate, and that's a good thing.
Yeah.
To see more from me and from the rest of Team Cupid, check out findmecupid.com, and I will see you later. Bye!